We're going to turn things back over to former district attorney, Brooklyn district attorney Imran Ansari, who has been covering this. Imran, want to get your take on some of the things that we just heard Jordan's father speak about and Eric Garner's mother speak about, who experienced a similar situation, saying that this was rigged, that it was unjust. However, for the prosecution, they needed to demonstrate that Neely's chokehold was the cause of Neely's, that Jordan's chokehold was the cause of Neely's death. Where did they fail in that?
Well, I think that the prosecution clearly didn't prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt as to the top count, the manslaughter charge that was dismissed. So that was left. The jury was left with the criminally negligent homicide case, and yeah, they had to show the causation as one factor, that chokehold was the actual proximate cause, the cause of Jordan Neely's death. Defense went on a different track with that, and they were arguing that there were other factors involved that led to the death, not necessarily the chokehold that the prosecution was going on. But also with this charge, the criminally negligent homicide charge, they had to find that the actions by Daniel Penny were unreasonable. They were not justified. So that justification, self-defense or defense of others, affirmative defense by the defense that was given to the jury was also a factor here. So what we are seeing is a lesser charge. They had to find that he was negligent and criminally negligent. They had to find that the chokehold was the actual cause of death. And they also had to find that he wasn't justified in doing so. So it was a tragic loss of life. And I feel for the family of Jordan Neely. And, you know, no life that is lost like this is something to be celebrated. But the jury spoke. That's what we see here. The jury had the case. They deliberated. They were hung on the top count, and they rendered their verdict. And of course, you know, the sympathy goes to Jordan Neely's family, but we saw the justice system play out here. And whenever there is a verdict in a case like this, where the city is divided, and you saw that the jury was even divided, but they came together on this count, it's going to cause that raw emotion. But as I was saying earlier, I think this case is really going to have us as New Yorkers focus in on the issues that we deal with every day as we commute around the city, and as we see people who need help, need mental health treatment, and may not be getting that through the infrastructure that we have here. Yeah. So there's the legal aspects, but the larger societal aspects that we see from this case.
Yeah, absolutely. We see those issues day in and day out here as New Yorkers. I know I asked you this before, but maybe you could explain again for people just tuning in to this verdict right now. We talked about the jurors saying we're not going to take manslaughter. We're going to be hung on that issue. But coming back to this, that second count, that criminally negligent homicide, what was it that changed for some of these jurors that possibly said maybe guilty on manslaughter, but we're going to say no for count two?
Yeah, we don't know the makeup of the jury in terms of who who can decide, or we're going for acquittal or for guilt on the manslaughter count. There could have been more people leaning towards guilt. There could have been more people leaning towards an acquittal. But I think we can discern or infer from the verdict, and a pretty quick verdict on the criminally negligent homicide charge this morning, that there was probably a majority that were going for acquittal at this time, because you didn't have a long deliberation on this count. Mm-hmm. You clearly saw the jury come together in some sort of consensus pretty early on this Monday morning. And of course, they're not deliberating over the weekends, but of course, they are thinking through it and internalizing it because they're human beings, right? So sure. Over the weekend, there was a thought process. And when this jury came together this Monday morning, they were able to come to that verdict on this count, which of course was a negligence count, right? It was taking negligence to a criminal level, and they found that the actions of Daniel Penny clearly did not rise to that level, or the prosecution just didn't prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt as to that count.